Good afternoon. This is Mike Dunnaway, the Flatland Fly Tyer. And today we're going to be tying a trout fly, a small trout fly pattern called the Zebra Midgeling. This is the little Zebra Midgeling, and this is a fly pattern developed by Mike Mercer out of California. And what I like about Mike's flies is that he ties with a purpose, meaning he's trying to accomplish a function with each element of the tie. And with this Zebra Midgeling, it's got a very distinct feature. It's got a wing case out of crystal flash and a small tail out of crystal flash. And the reason for these elements in the fly is that the pupa will actually capture some air underneath its within its body, and that air creates reflectivity, and so there's some light that reflects off of the body, and that's what the crystal flash is trying to accomplish. It's a great little pattern. Anytime I need a midge pattern as a dropper, I'll usually reach for the Zebra Midgeling because it's got those other features I like. So today we're going to be tying this in a size 16 curved nymph hook and with a 3/16 tungsten bead and a gold. And I'm going to start with just a couple of wraps of 0.015 lead wire, not necessarily to give it some weight, but to push into the bead to stabilize that bead a little bit so it doesn't flop around on the hook. Okay, those two wraps pretty much went inside the entire port of that bead. Now we're using some 80 denier or 70 denier ultra thread in a black. Okay, I work the thread down to the bend of the hook. Then we're going to take just a single piece of pearl crystal flash. And cut off about half of that. And fold that in half. And fold it in half again. That will give us 4 fibers that will form the tail of this fly. Pinch that together between your thumb and forefinger and tie down the crystal flash. Now we don't need much of a tail on this thing, so we're going to trim this off so it's about maybe 1/8 of an inch long. There we go. That gives us 4 fibers that create the tail. Trim off our balance. Next, we'll tie in bring our thread back up to the bead and tie in our gold copper wire, which is going to form the ribbing for this fly. Tie that down the full length of the fly back down to the beginning of the tail. And for the thorax, we're going to tie in some vinyl D-rib in a midge size. And it's difficult to see, but the D-rib actually has a D-shaped cross section. And we're going to tie that in so the curve of the D-rib is like thus. Then when we wrap it, it'll put that flat side of the D-rib down against the fly and the curve on the upside. Curve of the D. Okay, now we start wrapping the D-rib. Put touching wraps up the body of the fly. And tie that off. Trim off the balance. Tie that down. Now wrap our rib. I'm going to counter wrap that so it folds in better with the across the wraps of the D-rib. Tie down the wire. And helicopter that off. Now we'll grab another strand of crystal flash for our wing or wing case. Fold that in half once, then fold it in half again. That will create 2 loops of crystal flash. Make sure those are fairly even. Pinch that in our left hand and tie that down on top of the hook. About 3 loose wraps. Now we can inspect the length of the wing case and make an adjustment if needed. In this case, the wing case is a little long. There we go. It's about right. We want that wing case to be not as long as the body. A little bit less than that. There we go. Looks good. Then trim off our balance. The last material is some ostrich herl, which is going to form our, essentially it's the world's smallest soft hackle. Trim off some of that. Tie in our ostrich herl up the front. And we just need a few wraps of the ostrich herl. That'll do it. Just ignore that phone, kind of a noisy thing. Then whip finish. Trim off the excess. And add just a pinch of head cement on that thread tie. And we've got some errant fibers of that ostrich sticking up. We'll get rid of those. And there you have the Zebra Midgeling completed fly. Give that a try, especially as a dropper below a larger nymph, and I'm sure you'll have great success.